yeah, basically like doing stuff. It feels great. And yeah, I mean, good, like working. I'll pass it to Gideon.
Thanks, Septi. Things are going way better for me. I'm getting sleep again. Last week was pretty miserable. I just wasn't getting that much sleep for some reason. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think things are feeling good. I mean, things are feeling good. It feels like we're starting to make some momentum. The curation service is coming together. It's we have a couple of bugs we're trying to work through right now, but basically it's looking pretty good. We're getting some nice engagement on it. Like there are a lot of people starting to share stuff, and yeah, and I'm going up to Vancouver, British Columbia on Thursday afternoon and Friday and Saturday to hang out with my wife and her mom. I will pass it to Acid Laser.
Hey, thank you. Well, weird days, a lot of stuff going on. We work in CAMS Sync, a document that we would like you to present it to you. Well, we want your opinion. Yeah, some advice. We were working like in accounts restructuration by ourselves because we are really confused, and we want to start making the changes now. We need the changes now because the time is passing and there's no movement, there's no evolving, and so we made this document. It's very simple, but yeah, and I'll pass it to Miguel.
Hey, so the workflow this week, we are about to finish the animation video. I hope not. I hope I don't hope this week we will finish the video. And yeah, we've been working on that, and also as it later said, it's very important for us like to resolve these comms problem like right now, and yeah, we want your advice. It's like okay, as it later gonna share the document later, I suppose. So yeah, I'm gonna pass it to Bear.
Thanks, Miguel. Yeah, same. I think there was some good energy in that comms call. I think we were able to start rolling things again and kind of like recover control of the work we want to do, not just as contributors or just as the comms working group, but as the TEC, and kind of like try to integrate efforts and trying to align things with bigger goals, right? So I think that was really energizing, really productive. And yeah, I think in general the TEC is going through a lot of changes, as we know, and sometimes it feels a little uncertain, right, or confused. But I think it's okay. I think it's normal, and we just need to learn how to go with it and just take the best out of it and keep moving forward. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling energized. I'm feeling hopeful, especially. So it's a good day. I'll pass it to Nate.
Thanks, Bear. Yeah, temperature check is good. I'm really excited about this animation video this week. I think you guys have done an amazing job, really talented. I'm looking forward to the Stewards transformation stuff with offboarding and seeing about new people emerging. It's going to be really exciting to see. Outside of that, yeah. Okay, I'll pass it over to Gideon.
I already went. Septi, did you go?
Yeah, what's the first one?
Oh, so Tam, I guess.
Yeah, so then maybe it's me. I'd say I had, okay, on a personal note, I passed a really difficult written driving exam in French. So, like, I feel like I'm at the top of the world right now. The questions were just outrageously stupid. But thanks. I I feel like I've been prepared. I did like dozens and dozens and dozens of practice tests till I just memorized every answer, as stupid as they were. Half of the questions didn't even have to do with driving. They were more like, does this cheese go well with this wine? You know, it's just like, that's not related to driving. Anyway, so yeah, so that's just like a personal note. And because I've had my license for close to 30 years, I'm assuming I can pass the driving test relatively fast, just as soon as I can get one on the books. So that'll be nice for me and my family. And then for TEC stuff, you know, I just had a really productive call with Gideon. A lot of the working groups are starting to like figure out what their future is, or like how to sort of retire the working groups. So I feel like there's like, you know, things have been very like just like sort of coasting over the summer, and now it's just like into September things were like, okay, well, how are things gonna fall out? And now it's just like, okay, momentum's happening. You know, some of the attrition that we expected and in fact needed is starting to happen, and I think that the direction is very positive. So I think that's really good. I'm so glad that Acid and Miguel brought some documents for us to review today too, and help provide some guidance for comms. So that's me. And then the next thing on our agenda is gardens and snapshots votes. I saw your post, Gideon, about supporting Griff for the vote that he has for retroactive payment, but sort of also saying that in principle you disagree with it. I thought that was really nicely worded. I don't believe there's any other votes that are coming up now, but I'll let that.
Transparency.
Oh, is it transparency proposal is up now?
Yes,
Hey.
transparency is there.
Okay. Let's see. So transparency funding proposal September to October. Okay, excellent. And then retroactive funding for the swag shop. So those are the two that are open. And it looks like it already has 9 supporters. Okay. Okay, cool. And this one it's also on the forum, right? I think I've seen the post on the forum.
Yes.
Anything you want to say about it, Zach?
No, basically it's like for the transitioning of the transparency working group, probably like, you know, preparing, like I was like, as many of you know, I was checking out with the community, which ones activities do we want to still keeping. And then, yeah, Griff was also saying like, you know, maybe like some working groups is like just the role of one person. And also like basically I will be doing probably is like, you know, see what's like, I mean, I actually already know what the signaling of the community is for the tasks that we want to keep. And basically the next step would be like actually prepare someone to get all those done. And I'm actually like waiting on Gideon a little bit. He's like wants to, you know, narrate like how the TC structure is going to fit. And then when he have an answer for me, I will adapt to his, you know, to his view to get, you know, like that, to make sure like the activities that the community is like the Steward signaling that still want to be happening, to make sure like they still happening in the new structure.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that also brings us up to, I think, this, the stewards offboarding. I updated our manifesto and, you know, legal and labs are retired. Communitas doesn't have a steward. Livia is proposing that we pause SoftGov. Omega, oh yeah, this is Omega doesn't have a steward anymore either. So it also feels like there's a moment where it's sort of like we need to figure out how to refactor some of the working groups. Gideon has some ideas that I thought is super compelling, and maybe we'll come back to that in a minute. But we have 5 stewards who are offboarding now. So Sebnem has been telling us since the spring that she was going to offboard herself in August. Eduardo was offboarded himself from Communitas. YGG is taking a break from token engineering for a few months. So he self-offboarded, so did Lauren and Vi. So all of them have like really, you know, active other work that they're doing, so other projects that they're working on. In Vi's case, his college has started up again, so that's taken really all of his time, and it's been hard for him to even spend a little time in the TEC these last few weeks and months. Okay, and then I wasn't able to get everyone to come here for us to do like the ceremonial offboarding, but I think that we should try to still plan that. And Zep, can I put you on the spot to share your thoughts too?
Yeah, I mean, also, like, as I communicated before, I feel like, this thesis swapping the structure, and, my abilities right now, I'm not so sure who can be using the thesis, so I'm making sure, like, everything, like, we want to keep doing is there, but me, personally, I'll be stepping away for a bit. That doesn't mean, like, I still love our mission. I'll be hanging out in the community calls, in Twitter, but I will not be so active as I normally are. So yeah, I also wanted to communicate that I'll be self-awarded for the Steward role. I mean, it's been 2 years. It's been super great. I'm so happy. All the learns, the much I grow, and I still be around. Like this, there's no goodbyes. But yeah, I wanted to communicate that. I also will be self-awarded. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's awesome, and I think the most important thing is like the steward role is never meant to be like it's something that you lose when you're not energizing that role anymore. It's something that you can come into and and the word energize is the word that we started using. It's like you energize that role, and then when you are not energizing that, you sort of step away from the steward's role, and people can come sort of in and out of this role as it was originally designed to. So I have to somehow put you in here too. And then find a day where we could do where we can do more of a ceremony. But since we have Septimus here, why don't we just take a moment and we can share what is the first time you met Septimus and how has he made the TEC special for you? Nate, do you mind if I pass to you to kick us off?
Oh my god. Yeah, I have so much to say, Zep, and they're all amazing things. I have so many memories with you so far, both online and in real life, which was really awesome. ECC Paris, remember catching COVID and then running outside with you, doing sprints back and forth, being like, get these lungs up in shape, let's do this, come on, you can beat it. And I remember, just everything that you've done for me personally and support roles in like different ways, and then like how much you've done for the TEC in general. I mean, you've hopped around the different working groups, you've supported so many initiatives within the TEC, and then you had a transparency, which is kind of like the most thankless but most important job that the TEC or any DAO can ever have. I mean, putting up videos all the time, making sure that everything is recorded, documented, making sure that all of this information is passed down to a new group of individuals. And you have done it in such an amazing manner where you just kind of say, I'm going to back off, I'm going to back off. And then when things that, there are decisions that emerge that you disagree with, you step up and you make your voice heard. And it allows debate to happen. It allows all this open space for dialogue. And I just can't, there's so many things that are rattling in my mind that you've provided for the TEC during the past year plus, and very grateful to have you. And I'm just rambling now, but thank you so much, Septi. You're amazing, man. I want to pass it to Bear.
Thank you, Nate. Yeah, Septi. I mean, just by the fact of saying that you were actually the first one here in the TEC when I joined, that kind of like opened the doors to me and kind of like invite me to participate and collaborate, even with the small tasks like recordings. I really take that really seriously and really important to me, because it was just not for the TEC. It was kind of like my first opportunity of work in the Web3 space, right? And I was kind of like pretty new to all of this, so it felt just like amazing to have that and to have your your understanding and your patience of teaching me and showing support. So that really meant a lot to me. And the work that you've done in the TEC, I think it's pretty amazing and really tough to do. And I really admire the way you stand up for what you believe in and what you defend. I think that's super valuable to have. And I think also it can be really evident how all the people in the community appreciate you. And yeah, I think I've just become one more of those people, right? I think it's always really good to have people like this in a community. So yeah, I think I do hope you all the best, Septi. I'm pretty sure we'll meet in real life at one point. I'm pretty sure of that, and yeah, I'll see you around. I'll pass you to Acid Laser.
Oh, Septi, I wasn't expecting this. Well, the first point is that we talk in Spanish. That means a lot in our community. And also, I remember that the first weeks I entered to the TC, I was talking to Septi of, hey, Septi, if I can help you in something, just tell me. And Septi was, hey, man, you don't need to ask nobody if someone needs something. You just need to do it. Just do it. And I was like, what? And my mind's flowed. And I'm in here doing stuff by myself just because that advice that you gave me sometime. And I really appreciate that. And also you enter into all the calls and saying, hey, I'm gonna miss that. And thank you for everything, Septi. Your work has been excellent since I met you, and we will see you around. And good luck, man. And I'll pass to Miguel.
Yeah. Oh, so I feel that I have enough opportunity to know you, Septi, but I love all your work on the TC. Also, I appreciate a lot, and you are part of the Latin American community. That's very important, and I wish to have more things to say, but yeah. I'm gonna pass it to. And I love your avatar, by the way.
My cousin draw it.
AG.
Hey, G, welcome to the Stewards bi-weekly call. I'm not sure if you've been around the TEC long enough to have something to share about Zeptimus, who's one of a few of stewards who are offboarding themselves, but you are welcome to introduce yourself if you'd like.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Yeah, no, I've been here for a few weeks, and this is my first call that I just jumped on.
Cool. Well, you're very welcome to hang out.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe I'll take it next then. I'd say, it's been a long time since I've worked with Zeptimus, actually, like 2 years. So, and Zeptimus, maybe people don't know this. Before Zeptimus, there wasn't a transparency working group. He actually founded the Transparency Working Group and created it out of just a need to have things more transparent in the TEC. So it's really like his, I think that, having transparency is one of the pillars of our commons is like in large credit to Zeptimus and his ability just to be willing to do anything and do it enthusiastically. I think that's like one of the main things that I think about when I think of Zeptimus. He's super honest, super reliable, super dependable, will always do what he says he will do. You never have to chase him, ever have to chase him. And he's, humble, and like all of us, makes mistakes and is willing to admit mistakes and correct mistakes. And he has a lot of conviction and isn't afraid to be contrarian, which I think is super important. He's definitely not somebody who will go on board with something because everyone else is going on board with it. He'll just be like, no, I think this is a terrible idea, and here's why. And it's really nice to have such an enthusiastic, smiling contrarian, actually. And then, just in real life, there's very few people who are more fun to hang out with. Just very active, very up for anything. We've spent time together now in Paris and Barcelona and Burning Man. And it's just somebody who's always up for anything, just to go explore, go to see something new, to do something new, to try something new. Is so much energy. And it's just been a real pleasure to know you and to be able to spend this time working with you and becoming friends with you, Seth. And I'll pass to Gideon.
Thanks, Tam. Zepti, oh man, the first time that I met you wasn't actually even you. It was your little profile pic, and it was on Discourse. And I was like, man, this guy's hardcore. Like, I just kept seeing these comments and stuff like that. And I was picturing some 60-year-old guy, I was like, oh man. And then I met you, and you're just such a nice, oh my God, just so genuine and fun loving. And, it's just just straight shooter, and there's something about that ability to hold both of those, that ability to hold to your convictions and speak what you really believe is true, and then connect with people on just such a human, honest, real, soulful, you have a huge heart, man. And of all the things in the world, that's the most important. So I have a lot of respect for you. I think that you represent this view of decentralization. Don't overdo the centralization. You're always that voice to warn us when we're starting to get too centralized or whatever. And I respect that, and I think we need that. And I don't think we can afford to have you leave this community. So this is not goodbye. You better be around, man. So yeah. And I just want to thank you for all of the work that you've done. I truly, when we were writing that story about transparency, it's pretty cool. It's, I know you're looking at how we can right size it, the investments in it and stuff, but let's not forget that you actually have set an example for the whole space, of what this could look like, the processes for doing this. And it's really valuable contribution, not just to the TC, but to the field. So I want to thank you. And yeah, I'm going to miss having your smiling face on all these calls and just your enthusiasm. And yeah. Thank you.
Well, thanks everyone. I was even crying for a bit. Wow, it felt so emotional. I don't know what to say. Everyone, it's so special. I had one-on-ones with everyone. Everyone of you said details we had in contact, but it's this. I start thinking on my mind, and it's even more, and it's amazing. And yeah, I also want to say I'll be afforded as a steward, but I still have tokens. I if there's debates in the forum, I enjoy doing those. So it's I'll be not involved, but I'll be around. So I really care about this community. So yeah, I'm not gone forever. It's just I won't be active, and yeah, I really appreciate all of you. Thank you.
That's sweet. Okay. All right, and so moving on just a little bit, one of the things that was in the Stewards transformation proposal was this idea of not losing the knowledge of all of the stewards, but still keeping the Stewards Telegram group sort of really laser focused. So I just wanted to share. I should put. In the next day or so, we'll be creating a Telegram group. So it's just Stewards alumni. I don't know, these names are still pretty recent for us, but like Jess, Sam, Santi, Craig, Marco, Suga, remember all of them? I will be asking them and inviting them if they'd like to join the Telegram group to help sort of continue to advise the TEC and be this, pool of former stewards or alumni stewards that we can ask for help and advice from. So that'll happen in the next few days. Miguel, I guess, Manuel, is that you, Miguel?
That's my real name.
Oh, hey, Acid. So do you want to, and maybe just the other thing that I was thinking about too, as more and more working groups are really, right sizing is the right word for it. There's some interesting thinking around, bringing in together one team of all of the pieces of those working groups that are really necessary and mandatory for the TEC. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that sort of develops and alongside, and the direction that I want to say Gideon is really spearheading and doing most of the thinking around right now. And sort of in that vein, I think this is a really good time to talk about comms. So Miguel, do you want to present? Do you want to, share what you'd like help and advice on?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I meant Acid. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Well, I can do it. Yeah. And Miguel too, but yeah, I can start. Counts haven't been weird these past months. A lot of changes, a lot of drama, and all that stuff. Chewy is in Colombia, and he had some internet issues, and he couldn't attend this call. So we improvised. We were discussing about how we were feeling about comms and the TEC actual status right now, and we thought, hey, what about if we start making some questions just to see what's going on, what we think, and we make 3 questions. What's the objective of comms? Our own opinion. What is doing comms right now, and what do we need that comms start doing? So at this call, we had Bear, Miguel, Jean, and Centeno, a friend of mine that it's entering to TC. So we share our opinion. And Bear said a very good opinion about sharing this document to you, to the stewards, and also that you can write your own opinions to these 3 questions to maybe start doing something, starting with this document. I don't know, like a proposal or something. And for that, we need your advice. So we thought this could be a really good start of the new comms evolution. And yeah, we can discuss these questions together if you want.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd really like to hear your answers to them as well, like to start off, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the first question is, what's the objective of comms? Bear said that support the TC's mission. Ask ourselves if what we're doing contributes to the TC missions. Miguel says that it's very important because we need to create content without we can expose the TC work. Marketing, Twitter, animation to increase the tech exposure. Jean says to manage their account, newsletter because it's our way to communicate with our token holders, DAO to DAO communication with our communities, and we need a marketing push. Use Lens in a future. And Centeno help communicate to other working groups and external people to the TC mission and use our social medias as our weapon, expand to other social media. And what are we doing now? Now we have the Twitter. These days are going pretty well with Twitter. We have the past weeks very low engagement, but I have been trying new things. You can see there a table too if you want to see what's going on there. And we are having very good numbers these days. And yeah, also we're doing the quantifier tutorial. The video is almost done. Oh yeah, I made that. And yeah, the video is almost done. Maybe this week, Nate is doing the narrator voice. And yeah, we had been too much with Chris and Mitch. They have been helping us a lot. And hope we can show you very soon the quantifier tutorial. And yeah, and the next question is, what do we need? This is just like a brainstorm. Yeah, Miguel told us a very good idea about a main TC campaign with Swarmy. Swarmy is like a kind of dApp here in Mexico that is for exchange and it's very easy to use. And he told us to maybe make like a collab with them to add TC to their platform. And also that can help us to make like educational content with them about the bonding curve, and also to the Spanish speaker community to get with the TC, and also that can help to get more people to the server. We need comms presence in real life events like Bogota and something like that. We need marketing back, strategy on content creation, educational, entertainment, memes, strategy to support content creation service that it's coming soon. Recover website control. We need our website to be updated, and I don't know. Barrett said a very good opinion about we need to have the website control because nobody has it. So maybe it's going to be a good way, and use YouTube to communicate with that. The animation team to communicate, maybe make some educational content, create engaged of new people to TC and that stuff. And yeah, and that's it that we have. And yeah, you can write your answers if you want there. And we were discussing about maybe the next comms thing. Stewards there, and also we wish that Chewy can come too if he's in Mexico. And yeah, to start building. Yeah, we need to start building this now. Also with the collaboration with the creation service and the sample team, I think we can make the things very good. And yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Acid. Thanks and everyone who put this together. Really appreciate the time spent really thinking about it. You know, I know I came to one call where here in September where it really came down to sort of like Chewy was relating the idea of rethinking what we do with marketing. You know, marketing was the comms working group that had a budget but didn't have any strategic plan for how to use the budget. It was just, you know, a line item on a spreadsheet, marketing this budget. And the idea of thinking about what the marketing strategy is going to be and then executing on that strategic plan rather than trying things to see what works. So I think I'd say, you know, when I think about comms and what the TEC needs from comms, it's to understand what it is that we want to communicate, who we want to communicate to, and then how we're going to do that. So what we want to communicate is token engineering, like the projects, the initiatives that advance token engineering, the wins that the TEC has had, partnerships that we have, and in a way that speaks to token engineers, you know. So knowing who the people is that we're reaching out to, and then speaking to them in the language or the tone that they want to hear, or that they respond to. So I think that's, I don't know how important animation is yet. We haven't seen anything from animation. I know that there's a draft of the quantifier video. It'll be interesting to see that as like the first. I understand it should be almost done, or it is already delivered, or it's about to be delivered. But it'd be interesting to see how impactful that is in order to determine what future animation needs will be. But it's hard to even know, because we've yet to sort of see the impact that animation is able to make. What I know that we need for sure is Twitter. Like, I know that a DAO can't survive without Twitter. I think even the newsletter is a nice to have, as long as we can do it. If we could do it very well, it'd be great to have, but it has to be more in line with a greater arching strategic plan for all comms. But it seems like we don't have that overarching plan yet. I would think that would be the first step for comms, is to develop the strategy and then understand what our goals are and how we can measure our reaching those goals. I don't know if anyone else wants to share thoughts, but those are my first reaction or initial thinking.
You guys want to see the animation complete?
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like a minute.
Okay, but maybe if I don't know if Gideon, you wanted to share some thoughts too, and then we could look at that too.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I also appreciate these thoughts, and I want to say also that I think it's important for us all to recognize how tough this has been for you all, like especially you, Acid Laser, over this last couple months. Like, there's a lot of uncertainty here, and I mean, you've been doing your very best to try to keep things moving forward, and my hat goes off to you. I think I think you really are trying to show some leadership to kind of like keep this going. I think the thing that's really hard is that it's hard to have a comms group, or any group really, that's kind of just off doing its own thing without being integrated in to like the overall objectives of what the Commons is trying to achieve. So for example, like without having like a strong sense of what we want people to do once they land in our Discord server, how we want them to engage, it's really hard to know like who to try to reach out to on Twitter, and it's really hard to like evaluate whether or not we're succeeding on Twitter without putting it into a context of like communitas and the stuff, the services that we're trying to roll out. So I think that having some way for the comms team to have more points of contact with the other work that's going on, and allowing that to kind of inform the strategy will really help a lot, and it will feel so much better, for the communication, the people who are doing the communications work in the TEC, to really feel like what you're doing is just like really contributing to the success of this commons, and the community. So I think that's like this question of like what are the objectives of comms is absolutely right on, like starting there and using that to kind of like derive the strategy. And I do also agree with Tam that like the one thing that's the most important thing right now in this world that we live in right now is our ability to reach out through social networks to bring in some new people, like to bring in the new people who we really need in order to fulfill our mission. And that right now is Twitter, and maybe LinkedIn, at some point too. But the one thing we know is that it's Twitter. And so that's the thing where, like, I think in the short term, like really working with the curation service to try to use the curation service as a way to kind of find the right people and really build support, like ambassadors and those kinds of relationships with people where we can, there's some really exciting potential to try to basically bring people in as partners, individuals and organizations as partners to help the TEC succeed. So I guess what I would say is that have faith. Like, I think that there is going to be an answer. Like, there's some stuff that we're trying to work through and kind of think through. Tam and I and Nate and there lots of people are thinking about this, and it feels like there's a shift that's happening. And I don't think we're that far away from like getting some ideas. And I think these things, what you're suggesting here, are part of that, like figuring out what the objectives are. So I'll stop there. Maybe somebody else has something they'd like to add.
Yeah, I kind of just want to reiterate, like, the Acid Laser and the comms group. You guys have done such a tremendous job navigating through this type of ambiguity in a lot of ways. And I think the work you've done, the Twitter is really awesome. I really like our Twitter presence and our Twitter personality. I think it's really, really neat, and I think we can expand on that even more as part of our core objectives. The way I see the comms objectives is being the mouthpiece for the token engineering community. And I think it needs to expand beyond the direct internal workings of the TEC and expanding towards the organizations and projects that are really pushing the envelope within this industry. And I think that having more external messaging and finding the right narrative to really capture and bring more people in is the core objective. Like, where are these token engineers? Where are they currently? Where are the people that are going to be pushing that envelope? And let's get into their world and their little network and try to pull them in. Let's get collaboration among them. And I think that comms can be really successful if they focused on actually connecting people. And not only people, but organizations as well. And so there's a lot of people working in isolation right now, and I think that the comms has a really good opportunity here to make that happen. And so, and I would also like to see a lot of events. Let's have events. Let's have comms to promote these events and make sure that we have the shelling point aspect of it down. And I think that's the focus of comms is shelling point. But that's just my own personal opinion, and I'm really excited to see what happens with it.
I'd like to ask, Acid, you've been really stepping up and leading the comms team. Do you feel well integrated and like aware of what other working groups are doing and what other working group needs are, or does it feel like comms is sort of sometimes just working in the comms bubble?
Well, I think what we need is people, because I cannot be in everywhere. These past months, I have been feeling like alone in comms, and I can be everywhere. These past weeks, I have been feeling better because Miguel has been helping me a lot, and Chewy is coming back little by little. Too much things to do, and I understand him. But yeah, Miguel, NT's a wonderful person. Bear, yeah, and I have been feeling their help these past weeks. But I can be everywhere. I don't know too much about what is happening in other working groups. But the idea of this is to have like a better engagement with other working groups. but we need people. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and most organizations, comms is a service to the organization, right? So like you think of the organization as the client and they have needs and it's like, what does the client need? And, figuring that out is like, I feel the same way. I feel like you've been single manning it for a long time now too. And that there shouldn't be any expectation that you would be present everywhere, but maybe there can be, better processes so that information flows to you.
Yeah.
And that it or to comms in general. And this was definitely not anything about you specifically, more about it just feels as if comms wasn't understanding the client needs and helping the client, like what does TEC need? So like it had some ideas and initiatives and it was like running with these ideas and initiatives, but maybe not checking in and making sure, hey, is this what TEC token holders want? Is this what, is this the right direction to go in? And so I think maybe that just led this sort of like, we need this, but we're doing this. And there's sort of a small gap there.
Yes, I understand. Yeah.
Anyone else would like to share thoughts or?
I think the biggest issue in comms, as I say the past Steward call, is like there's no communication with the working teams. We always wait to this day to have the comms call, and it had been like 2 weeks, if I'm not wrong, that we don't have like a real comms call. Maybe today call was very important, I think, but I think we don't have to wait to that day. That's the main issue. We need a really good communication, at least with the project managers of each working group. Or I know there's not gonna be the working groups as we know it right now, but yeah, that's the main issue. It's incredible for me. Like all the calls are like in Discord, and it's very simple to just enter a call. You can enter whatever you are. So yeah, I think we have to be like more strict with that kind of calls, because are very important, and if one person doesn't come, it affects to all the comms working groups and also to that TEC community. So I think we have to be like more strict with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Miguel, is that helpful? I guess the real question is, so what is the next step for comms?
I think that we have to unify like the working groups, because Twitter can work perfectly with animation. We can start using more YouTube, and like the animation work we make, we can upload it to YouTube, and also with Twitter we can move it, and in the Discord communities. If there's no one to make that YouTube work, I can do it. I have experience in YouTube, and I think all comms has to be in some way. All the working comms are graphic design or sound design. I don't know, but it's all creativity, and it's all like the same, and it can be unified.
Okay.
was actually going to ask because do you see that there's a? I mean, I'm not sure exactly who all is participating in the external communications aspect versus the design stuff, because, or if it's just all the same people doing the same things. And I think that's a really good idea to just combine, just have a single group of people that are focused on comms and bringing them in closer and integrating, like Gideon and Tan mentioned, would be really a good first step towards making it a little bit more efficient, a little bit better oversight in terms of the direction and having a concise plan moving forward.
Yeah, because if like, for example, I'm part of the animation team. I started here with the animation team, but as I only part of the animation team at the beginning, I was only entering to the animation calls, and I was lost a little bit with the other working groups. But little by little, I started to enter to all the comms, all the working group calls, and I realized it all has to be a lot. Twitter has to be a lot with marketing. Animation has to be a lot also with Twitter and this stuff, because all the Twitter exposure is gonna make all that animation video like mean like something. And yeah, I think all has to be the only working group it's like apart for me is the TC Academy. But yeah, that's my opinion.
I like the idea of more, a lot of like comms working together, but also a lot of working groups working together more closely. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, maybe more guides so people doesn't have to like fear it how all the stuff works, because sometimes like all the community here suppose that everyone knows how to do the things, or they just wait to understand. So maybe like make sure that all the contributors here have like a more like like they know better what to do and where to go. I think that would be very helpful also.
Is there anything else we want to talk about with the comms? I mean, I guess we're still in like the next steps, and I think some of that will. The next comms call is next Tuesday, and Chewy will be back from
Yes.
DevCon by then. Okay.
I don't know, but I can ask. I can ask him.
Okay. Anything else that we want to go over? We have 5 minutes left.
I can show you the video. Yeah, just
Oh yeah.
so you can see what's up. It's just a little bit context is a quantifier tutorial video to explain the use of dashboard, but using like a little story to explaining with some little yeah. It's just like it's not the final one. It has like a storyboard, but we're going to finish in these days. here's the part where we explain the dashboard UX. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. And there's a separate video for the dashboard, which is really cool. It kind of just walks you through the dashboard and how to use it.
Yeah.
And there's a voiceover that's explaining what's happening. Is that
Yeah.
will come?
Yeah, that will be neat.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah. So I had this done this week, actually.
I
think
don't
it's
have
good.
the benefit of the voiceover, but I'm not sure I understand praise any better right now. Having watched that, I'm not sure I understand the benefit of, but I don't know what the voiceover will say.
Yeah, we need the voice to understand better, and also the dashboard part. Yeah, we will show you to you when we get the voice.
Okay, is
Yeah,
there a
make a lot
delivery
of
date on it?
It,
For like,
We were
this is
shooting
the
on
day
Friday.
it gets published.
before this month, but this week we might have it at the final video.
Okay.
There's
Um,
actually one more thing that I wanted to add to the conversation, and that is the one kind of tricky component, which is the website. I think this is something we've struggled with, and I do think we need to get on this in terms of making sure we know exactly who has control of the website. And I personally would love to just see a central landing page for the TEC. If anybody's coming to the TEC, you go to the website, everything is there. I don't know if we can make that happen, but I think it would be a huge help for comms.
we have on the last minute, and I'll just answer that quickly. I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, I think we do. We have a CRM, and the CRM is very rudimentary. And I believe we know, or at least Transparency has a list of who has access to the CRM. And then for redesigning the website to something very simple, we need a budget and a design. So a
And
proposal
do we know
for-
do you know who to talk to for the advice process on that one? Because I'm not exactly sure. I guess Christopher, maybe. I don't know who.
for redesigning the website?
Not redesigning necessarily, but just like basic functions and editing and introducing ideas.
There's none of that. It is a pretty rigid template, and what you can do is change the text in places, but it is not very customizable.
Which CRM are we using?
What?
What CRM are we?
Something not not a kind that's it might even be custom built, like not something that is a template that is easily, like, we can't just edit some CSS and fix things if that is making. Yeah,
That's yeah.
we're at the top of the hour. Thanks everyone for joining today, and especially thank you, Optimus, for having on.
Thank you guys for your kind words.
Thanks,
amazing.
FT. We love you.
I love you too, everyone. Bye bye.
Thanks, Acid and Miguel, too, for sharing that from comms. Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. See you.